Hi, welcome to Astrobabble. I am Donna from Donna B Astrology,
And I'm Linda from Scullywag Astrology.
and today we are going to be talking about the full moon the new moon in Cancer. So it's going to happen at 14 degrees, 23 minutes. So if you have any planets at that degree, you're going to feel this one.
Said, what's the moon mansion for this one?
The moon mansion is going to be the ninth moon mansion. It is Barbiel, Barbiel. And it is the flavor of Saturn and Mars. So hold on, everybody. This is not. This moon mansion is foreboding. It's warning of uh, danger or imminent problems. This is according to Christopher Warnock's book, The Moon Mansion. This is the name. The name of it is Glance of the Lion's Eye. And I'm thinking you wouldn't ever want to be in the glance of a lion's eye unless there was bars in between you. But this is divine wrath, severity, disempowerment, infirmity, frustration, misfortune, illness, and defeat. Usually implies a negative answer. So, you want to be watchful of that. Warns of approaching misfortune, health and travel it impacts, cultivating acceptance, emotional stability, wisdom. Everything happens for a purpose, and it's supposed to make your burdens lighter. So
Make
a little dark clouds surrounding this one.
Did you finish with make your burdens lighter?
Yeah, it makes the burdens lighter. In
Oh,
other words, I'm thinking that if it warns you that you can maybe prepare, because when the moon gets to that spot in the sky, that means, okay, don't take the chances. Don't ask those hard questions. Don't ask what you don't want to know the answer to. That was always good advice. But yeah, it just has that disempowerment, severity, misfortune kind of air around it. So
hmm. Yeah. Interesting that you said that it's of the nature of Mars and Mars and Saturn will have just had a sextile. Saturn is
mm,
retrograde though, so they will actually be moving further away from each other. Saturn will be going backwards, Mars will be going forward. But Mars is moving towards that conjunction with Uranus, which is pretty explosive. Got Venus with the new moon, so that's something. Hopefully that might mitigate it a little bit. Mercury can't see it. Uranus and Mars can. Jupiter can't see it though, which is a shame. And everything kind of caught up between Pluto and Mercury. So all the planets just over half the chart.
Mars and Saturn are both peregrine.
Mm.
So maybe they have their hands a little tied and can't do much damage. And the moon is out of bounds, very, very high in the sky.
Mm. Interesting. Let's have a look at the horoscopes. And we recommend that you read or listen to your ascendant sign rather than your sun or your moon sign. And if you don't understand why that is, we have a video that we'll link to in the description.
Okay, so the first one we have is Cancer. Happy birthday, Cancers, number one. And if you are a Cancer, this full moon is happening in your first house. And the first house is the house where you will be changing things that are just for you, whether it is a trip that is just for you, a wardrobe. These things will be just sprouting their seeds. It's not really coming to fruition, but you're sprouting those seeds for things that are just you, as this is a new moon. This is when you plant those new seeds, those new ideas, and that type of thing. So this will be great for you to start some new adventures.
And if you are a Gemini ascendant, this new moon is happening in your second house. The second house is our income and finances, personal finances, and resources. So this may be new beginnings or new starts to do with that. Maybe there's a new income stream or a new job that you're working on at this time. Maybe you have decided that, you know, this thing or item or even a person may be very beneficial to you in some way. Maybe you are working towards achieving that, some sort of resource. Or for some, it could even be that you are perhaps gifted because you do have Venus in that second house as well, which is wherever Venus is, sometimes there's a gift or some sort of blessing in a way. Maybe you receive a little bit of assistance, whether it's financial, an opportunity to grow your money or personal finances, or just something that in some other way supports you.
And if you are a Taurus, this is going to be happening. The new moon will be happening in your third house. And the third house is all about community. It's the house of how we communicate as well. Short distance travel as could be highlighted with this, as well as early education and short courses. But these will be things that'll be happening also around family, your siblings, your even aunts and uncles and cousins. This is all new things that you might be starting to plan with those types of issues or themes.
And if you are an Aries ascendant, this new moon is happening in your fourth house. Fourth house is our family, most particularly our parents. It's our home and living situation and includes things like real estate matters. So this may have nothing to do with you. It may be your parents have new plans. They're starting off on some new venture or, you know, some new start. Or it could be to do with where you live and the people you live with. Maybe there's somebody new coming into the household, or maybe there is a move. Maybe you're starting to look for somewhere else to live, or you're actually moving in there. Or it could have something to do with a real estate matter, some new beginning.
And if you are a Pisces rising, this is going to be happening in your fifth house. You do have Saturn in your first house, so that might be an issue. A little, you might feel a little restricted, but the new moon is going to be happening in your fifth house, and the fifth house is the thing. It's about your hobbies, things that you create, things that are fun, things that you do for fun. So this could as well include children. If you were planning, if you were wanting to go to a concert, this might be when you go and buy a ticket for that. This would be a time to start those hobbies and things you do for fun.
And if you're an Aquarius ascendant, this new moon is happening in your sixth house. The sixth house is employees or those that work for you. It also includes those that work for the general good. It includes doctors, nurses, first responders. It's also the house of pets and illness. So this could be a new employee, whether that's somebody where you are actually an employer, or it could be if you work for a larger organization, maybe you have some people reporting to you. There may be a new employee there, or you are taking up a new role supervising people. Can include just simple things like, you know, if you have a tradesperson working, you know, around the house that you have kind of reporting to you in a way as well. For those that do work in service of others, maybe you're embarking on new training or just being accepted into that field. Could be a new pet. And for some, it may be a new illness or something to do with health. With Venus there, hopefully not too negative.
And if you are a Capricorn rising, this is going to be happening in your seventh house. And the seventh house is the house of the other, the house of where you have committed relationships around. So that would be like a doctor or a hairdresser, somebody who you would set up an appointment and you need to see. This could also be partnerships as well as romantic partnerships or business partnerships. These will be new things that are starting around there, such as starting a new business, getting that hair appointment that you wanted to change your hair. This would be a good time to do make that kind of an appointment. Yeah, so it's all about the new things around the one other person.
And if you are a Sagittarius ascendant, this new moon is happening in your 8th house. The 8th house is the house of other people's money or shared finances and resources. So this could be you're learning that maybe somebody has passed away and you are part of their beneficiary, because this is a house that covers wills. It could be that there's a financial agreement being finalized or not finalized, being initiated at this time. It could be whether that's a business partner or a romantic partner, or it could be you're applying to the bank for a loan. It also has to do with taxation and insurance. So maybe there's some sort of matter to do with one of those just being initiated at this time. But yes, for whatever reason, new starts, new beginnings to do with those matters.
And if you are a Scorpio rising, this is going to be happening in your 9th house. And the 9th house is the house of legal, the issues, the law, publishing, higher education, foreigners. So this might have something to do with, if you are a Scorpio rising, maybe a trip abroad. So this would be going to different, far places, as well as the esoteric subjects like astrology and that type of thing.
And if you're a Libra ascendant, this new moon is happening in your 10th house. The 10th house is the house of career and public reputation. So there may be new beginnings to do with career or something that you will later receive a lot of attention for. Could be a new boss, because this is also the house of authorities. Could be a new project at work, or it could be a new job altogether. Yeah, so new beginnings, new starts to do with career or public reputation.
And if you are a Virgo rising, this new moon is going to be happening in your 11th house. And the 11th house is another good house. It is a house of your acquaintances, your friends, your groups and associations. This could also be your hopes and dreams. So these are new starts around the themes of, maybe you have a wish or a hope to paint your house pink. This might be when you start planning on doing those things. It's the things that you are wishing for or hope for. Those things will be coming true or coming more into focus, or you're something that has to do with your groups and associations and the people you hang around with or people you work with. Something new may be happening around those themes.
And if you're a Leo ascendant, this new moon is happening in your 12th house. The 12th house is the house of our undoing. It's hidden and secret matters. And it is also a place of exile. So this could be working behind the scenes or being far from home. It can include places of confinement, such as prisons or hospitals. Yeah, it does also include addictions and self-defeating habits. So there may be new beginnings or new starts to do with these matters. Hopefully not too negative. We do have Venus there, which should help somewhat. Maybe because that moon is both moon and Mars, not moon and Mars, both the moon and the sun are going to come up and sextile Mars, and then later trine Saturn. So maybe a little false steps, perhaps. It's, so if you are trying to overcome a self-defeating habit or something similar, maybe just be aware that, it may not be all smooth sailing, but don't let that deter you, sort of thing. But for many, it will be just, working behind the scenes and, yeah.
And with Cancer being the new moon, the stone that I have is, oh gosh, it's bluer than that. That looks really green, but it's very blue. And this is called Amazonite. I figured with Cancer and, it reminds me of women and Amazon. This is Amazonite. And there's other pieces, but it is a good stone. It works with the water chakra, or not the water chakra. It has the resonance of the water element, as well as works with the heart and the throat chakra. So it works with both of those. It is found in Colorado, India, Madagascar, Namibia, and Russia. It is good for it's good for the hopes and dreams that you might have. It also is good for peacekeeping and truth telling. So this was one of the stones that they said in the Book of Stones, my reference book, is they said that they think it is the third stone on Moses's breastplate. So that's how long it's been around. Yeah, it's been around. They've been working with jewelry for over 4,000 years. So it has been around for a very long time. It helps us focus on our dreams. So this is a really good stone to work on or work with if you are trying to manifest something. It is very blue. It's more bluer than this. I don't know why it's turning so
Is it as blue as your
green.
top?
It's blue.
Is it as blue as your
In reference,
Mm.
that's in reference. So it does have a blue greenish type quality. This is definitely blue. This shirt is definitely blue. But yeah, it's got a little bit of it maybe it's not as green as that, but it could be no, that's not showing it either. I don't know. I will have to get a good picture. When I get a good picture of it, I will put it on my site, which I will be writing an article about it.
Very good.
I have much catch up to do, but I'm working on it. And that is Amazonite. Okay. So the first aspect we're going to talk about is the Venus will sextile Uranus. This is energy that wants you to mix it up, if you have always appreciated pottery, you might appreciate going to go see a painting show. If you have always appreciated, gardening, you might appreciate, instead of doing vegetables, you might go for flowers as well. This is energy that is asking you to mix it up in whatever as well as love relationships. If you are always going to a park, you might go to a beach the next time. So this is time to do things differently, to mix your life up a little bit.
Yeah, you may be attracted to people that are a little bit different to what you're usually attracted to, or forms of art that you're usually attracted to. Like Donna said, instead of pottery, you might be more drawn to painting. Or good time to kind of widen those barriers of what you find attractive or meaningful or whatever. Yeah, just, allow yourself to see something a little bit differently, perhaps.
Always a fun one.
Mm.
The next aspect we'll be talking about is Mercury will sextile Jupiter. This is a time when you can be thinking of those long range goals. This is a sharp mind. It's also it's a pretty fast moving, goal oriented, like the big types of things, the big themes in your life would be a good time to be searching through those.
Yeah, this is happening on the 8th of July. Yeah, big ideas, grand, enthusiastic, generous ideas, and yeah, big sky thinking. Hopefully they should blend quite well. Jupiter's not in its best position because it is in detriment in Gemini, but yeah, still, hopefully it should be pretty good.
The next aspect will happen on July 10th, and will be when the sun will trine retrograde Saturn. And Saturn is going to act differently, so it's not going to be as Saturnian or restrictive barriers, rules. So those might be that line might be a little bit more wavy. But when Saturn and the sun are in trine together, it's a good aspect. It's a nice aspect, and that might lead you to maybe do some more organizing or get your life in order, or decide what works and what doesn't. Might be a good aspect to really try to hone in and focus on what's working and what doesn't.
Yeah, Sun trine Saturn, usually, feeling like, you got these things to do, but you're not feeling too bad about it, just taking care of business. The fact that Saturn is retrograde, maybe it might feel a little bit more onerous than you first thought it might be. But yeah, generally not too bad. It's not an overly sexy aspect, but taking care of what needs to be done.
And not a lot of aspects, but we have Venus will trine Neptune. This is happening the next day on July 11th. And when Venus trines Neptune, we're looking at rose-colored glasses. Spiritual relationships as well might increase. Your sensitivities might increase as well to others around you. So this is a relatively nice time. It might be more, you might be more open intuitively.
Yeah, romantic, idealistic, altruistic. There can be a tendency to, be wearing rose-colored glasses with Neptune because, it's foggy and it's not like Saturn, very practical and down to earth and grounded. It's, very up in the air and all the rest of it. But look, could be a great time for a romantic getaway, perhaps. Yeah, maybe good for creativity.
I like that. And the next aspect will be happening the same day. Venus will enter Leo. And this is where relationships might shine more. If you are, in a place where you have a relationship, you might bring it out into, you might tell your folks you are now serious with someone. This would be a good time for having your love relationships lit up or more aggressive. Could we have more energy behind them as well?
Venus in Leo, it's a change of sign. So as Donna likes to say, probably a good time to journal. The only issue with planets moving into Leo at the moment is that more or less within a day or two of entering Leo, they oppose Pluto. But, Venus is going to be in Leo until August 4th. So, she's going to start off with that opposition to Pluto, but she's going to have a lot of nearly a month in Leo as well. So, yeah, fixed sign, ruled by the sun, optimistic, generous. It's a fun sign for Venus to be in. Look, should be nice wherever Leo is in your natal chart, should bring good things, whether that's an actual physical gift or surprise or something nice, or whether it's just that you are getting on more harmoniously with the people and topics associated with wherever Leo is in your chart.
And the next aspect, as Linda was alluding to earlier, Venus will oppose Pluto, and this is going to happen on July 12th. This is going to speak of intense relationships as well as compulsive behavior. This could also be a power struggle, so be careful of that. This can be when people are trying to get the upper hand on you. So definitely one to watch.
Particularly since, only a few days prior, we had that Venus trine Neptune where it was all, rose-colored glasses and starry-eyed and all the rest of it. Maybe this is a bit of a thump down to earth, or it might have nothing to do with that, it's a different part of your chart being activated. But yeah, this can be intense. It can be jealousy, possessiveness, or it could have something to do with transformation, depth, and honesty. And it may have nothing to do with relationships. It may have something to do with how you view art or what you value. But yeah, this is a bit of a tense time. Venus is moving pretty fast, not super fast, but she is still moving fast. She is still under the beams of the sun too, so she's not as she's not visible at this time, so that could be interesting for many too. Maybe some secret things happening which may amp up the intensity and all the rest of it. So yeah, she is only 3 or 4 degrees away from getting out from under the beams of the sun, though. So that will be nice when she does. And of course, by that time, she'll have moved past that opposition to Pluto.
And then the next aspect we are going to be talking about is going to happen July 15th, and that will be Mars will conjunct Uranus. And this is a very strong aspect. When planets get together and they're conjunct, that means that those both energies are blending. You have Mars, which is in charge of aggression, and Uranus, which is in charge of explosive. Could be that. It could also be Mars is in charge of bravery and courage, and Uranus is in charge of doing things in a different way. So, there could be a cure for cancer. I don't know. Something with leadership and doing it in a different way. I would think that this could be an astronaut landing on the moon for the first time would happen during a Mars conjunct Uranus. This is leveling up, but it's doing something with a lot of drive and or aggression behind it.
Yeah, I suppose the risk with this, amongst other things, I see this as quite combustible, but they're both in a hurry. Mars wants to move forward quickly, and Mars at the time will be in Taurus, which is a lot slower moving. So Mars isn't at its best in this sign. Uranus is also quick and sudden. So a good time to kind of not burn any bridges if possible. I think it's very easy to act very rashly, very hasty at this time. I'm just looking.
Yeah, this star is right. These planets are conjunct right on Algol.
Oh God, that's a point.
That's the
Algol.
Algol is.
Don't lose your head. I was just looking at the moon at the time, because this is when they're first conjunct, but probably within a day, the moon's going to come up and oppose them, which may be a trigger for some things. Yeah, Mars will go on to sextile Neptune later, which could be a good time to fight for freedom, though. It's a good freedom fighting. If you need to fight for a cause, that could be a useful way to expend this energy. But very easy to fly off the handle or even get a little bit sidetracked, though I would imagine that's going to be later when Mars comes up and sextiles Neptune. But yeah, just watch for hastiness on this day, and that could include things like just driving and all the rest of it. Try not to overreact.
Then on July 18th, we have the sun will sextile Uranus, and it's asking for a change of routine. This is also more alert. I think that's good brainstorming energy.
Yeah, it could be. But yeah, usually just a change of routine. I mean, this could be just you can't go home the usual way because there's roadworks there, or you like to get a coffee first thing in the morning, but you're running late, or you've got extra time so you can stop and get that coffee and grab a donut or something. But yeah, new ways of thinking, new perspectives perhaps. But the sun is moving pretty quickly. It's not as fast as it usually goes, but the sun moves pretty quickly in general. So within a day or so, this is going to move on. Unless these are making connections to something in your chart, you're not going to feel it that much. Like I said, something probably simple, just some disruption to your day, and not necessarily a bad one. It might be a good one.
The next aspect we're going to be talking about is Mars will sextile Neptune. And this is that aspect where it's good for working for a group goal, that leadership qualities could really come through on those people who are inspired to do so. You're looking for some kind of leadership courage to go with that Neptune type of energy, that drive to actually see those goals and those dreams come through. This is a pretty good aspect if you have a big dream that you've been poised to go for. Might be that aspect. This might be the time.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Mars sextile Neptune certainly can be using that energy in an idealistic and altruistic way. Very soon, Mars is going to move into Gemini, so it will come up and be trining Pluto within a day or so too. So a transformative use of that energy. Hopefully good. You know, it's just had that conjunction with Uranus. So it will be very interesting that Mars is making a lot of connections. So very interesting. Yeah, I think still not a bad idea. And as soon as Mars moves into Gemini, it's going to at least not be in detriment too. So that will be helpful. I think it's still pretty easy to overreact or not see things clearly. You may start out with something kind of like, it's a bit like when you're putting IKEA furniture together and you're looking at it upside down and you kind of put something together and it's, you know, facing the wrong way. It may be a little bit like that for some people too. There's that cloudiness, the Neptune around action. But yeah, certainly a good aspect to work towards some altruistic or idealistic cause.
On the same day, Mars will enter Gemini. And when Mars enters Gemini, it's a new sign. As Linda said earlier, I like to say, journal when at any time a planet moves into a new sign. And this is going to be Gemini. Mars was in Taurus and it was kind of stuck in the mud and very slow moving and not in its a more ideal sign. Where Gemini, I think Mars is going to have an opportunity to move a little bit more freely and quickly. And that's exactly what I think that Mars in Gemini is going to be. It's going to seem more active.
Yeah, wherever Gemini is in your chart, more action, more perhaps aggression, but yeah, more physical ambition, drive, action regarding the people and topics associated with wherever Gemini is in your chart. It's no longer in Taurus, so it's not in detriment, so that's good. And yeah, it's going to come up and have a trine with Pluto very soon, so interesting.
And that just shifted all of the planets peregrine, so nobody feels comfortable. And then back to a full moon in Capricorn. This will be our second one this year. It'll happen on July 21st. And this is, you know, the full moons are all about culmination. So look for things that you were starting 6 months ago and see what will be coming to fruition right around then for you.
Yeah, this will be a very interesting full moon, I think. That full moon very close to moving over into Aquarius and making a conjunction with Pluto. It is also very close to trining Mars. By sign, Mars is in inversion at the time of the full moon, but it's going to move into Aquarius pretty quickly. Venus and Mercury, Mars and Jupiter can't see this full moon. Saturn can, though. Pluto can't see it either, even though the moon's going to sneak up and conjunct Pluto pretty quickly after the full moon. It will be sextile Neptune. That's interesting. Very clouded. Not able to see what's actually happening. So whatever high points, culminations, or endings that are happening may not be what they appear first off. So that will be interesting.
Very interesting.
Mm.
So, Linda, what have you been up to? What services do you offer? And are you open for readings yet?
No, I haven't been up to much. A reading's opening in September, I think. And it's on the website. If you want to go book a reading, you can do so there. I offer natal readings, year ahead readings, and relationship readings. And I'm at Scullywag Astrology. That's astrology.scullywag.com. And Donna, what services are you offering and where can people find you?
People can find me at donnabastrology.com. My contact information is on my website. You can get a hold of me at donnabarkconsulting@gmail.com too. And I offer natal readings, year ahead, electional, medical, astrology, and medical. And I also work with energy healing. So if you are in need of those services, you contact me.
Mhm. And we hope that this new moon is a good one for you. Thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments. We really appreciate them. And yes, thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Bye.